Howdy there, everyone. I'm doing this video to go over my top 10 personal games of 2025, including my game of the year. They don't have to be games that specifically released in 2025, just as long as I played it this year, it's on the table. I'm mainly making this for myself and my friends, but anyone might find some cool insight in my playing habits. Here's a look at what I played this year by the end, totaling at 58 individual games. That's not bad. They vary in purpose from co-op games I played for a couple sessions to 100-hour plus long single-player games. I'm proud of what I accomplished this year. I put a lot of pressure on myself to do a lot, and I learned quite a bit about what I should and should not add onto my plate to not feel overwhelmed, and I plan to take a better approach to 2026 with this better mindset. And most importantly, play some good games this year. Anyway, before going down the top 10, let's talk about some of the other categories that I want to add in. Starting with the few I didn't fully finish, I picked back up Pokemon Legends Arceus and Pokemon White 2 this year, neither of which I have finished yet, but they are absolutely on the list for 2026. BO7 was another campaign I wanted to finish this year, but frankly, I don't have the want or the care right now to get a completion in for it. Maybe if I have a free moment, I'll play Black Ops 7, but I don't know, probably not. Finally, I didn't finish a game I started with a friend, Borderlands 2. Now, I'm not blaming anyone, but I'd say there's a reason why there's a running gag in my friend group that we haven't finished it. I'm looking at you. You know who you are. Now for what I'm calling the anti-game of the year. As in, what was the least favorite thing that I played this year? Not to say that it's bad, but I'm not calling it very good. Alan Wake Remastered. I'll be frank, I actually quite like some of the story within the game, but I think it has very antiquated gameplay that is just a complete slog in the modern era. Even for the time, it feels like it'd be a bit much. However, I will say I am interested in exploring more of the Remedyverse in Control and Alan Wake 2, so there is a silver lining. Also, a distant shout out to Mario 64 DS, not because it's bad, but because playing a 3D game on the 3DS with the 3DS controls is a pain in the ass and really annoying. Alright, now to the games that I played that I actually enjoyed this year. Starting with 3-ish honorable mentions. The first honorable mention I'd like to add in is Lies of P Overture. It was a good improvement on the main game, and honestly, the only reason it's not in the top 10 is because it's a DLC and not a full game. And to me, it feels like it's a little bit odd to put there. It would take DLC of the year if I had to pick one, though. The next honorable mention is Neon White. It was a game introduced to me by my friend and Destiny clan leader Chain Gear, and boy, this game is very good. I had a serious issue before playing Neon White, where I would get exhausted with true challenges in games very quickly, and Neon White taught me to embrace and enjoy the challenges again through its really encouraging gameplay. I'm very glad I played it, and it was also one of my favorite Gearclub games this year. Finally, for the basic honorable mentions is R.E.P.O. I'm a huge fan of what people have taken to calling friend slop games, Lethal Company, Liar's Bar. I love taking a night of gaming to just relax, rather than take on big lofty goals or something like that. I just didn't get to play R.E.P.O. enough this year to have it really stick out in my mind, but I'm hoping next year there might be a few more friend slop games into my rotation. Some of you who know me might also know I participated in a book club for games this year, or a game club, also courtesy of my Destiny clan leader. Its purpose is to take a more observational look at how games tick and how we perceive them. And picking my favorite one I participated in 2025 would actually have to be, to many people's surprise, Satisfactory. Mainly because it taught me a lot about what I do and do not like in playing games. Not that I fully dislike it, but I got to think a lot about what I wasn't enjoying about it, and my favorite quote from that meeting was, "If I'm being honest, this game isn't actually fun," which is really funny out of context. Now let's finally get into the reason you came here for. Atlas's top 10 games of 2025, starting with number 10.
Well, a sense of overriding futility is a vital part of the process. Embrace it.
Whatever you say, Doc.
Number 10, GTA 5. Now, ignoring the fact that it's taken me over a decade to finally getting around to finishing this game, especially after starting it easily over 6 times, I'm so glad that I finally got around to it this year. This game is such a nostalgia trip for one. It's like taking a time machine to the early 2010s, both in-game and in real life. The gameplay and graphics are showing their age a bit, but it's still holding up pretty well overall. I'll be honest, I don't know how people still play GTA Online after over a decade, but you know, I still play Destiny after over a decade. It was a very good trip down memory lane, a great story that felt above all one word, entertaining, and finally one I'm glad to say that I've finished after all this time. Number 9, Doom: The Dark Ages. Man, it was so fun to play a new Doom game after all these years. I played 2016 close to when it came out, and had only played maybe an hour or two of Eternal until this year, actually, when I finally got around to it. But getting to experience a new take on the Doom games for the first time in like 8 years, it was great. The story could have used a bit more, but to be fair, this is Doom. The stories and the lore, you play the game for that drug-like intoxication towards combat. I can't wait for the DLC to flesh out more of the game like Eternal's DLC did. I also had some issues running the game on PC and was forced to play it on PS5, and by issues, I mean the game would not open. So that did put a damper on things, but at the end of the day, it's not too painful. I loved the game, it was a great time, and I can't wait for the DLC. Number 8, Pokemon Legends ZA. You know, I love Pokemon so much. I enjoy turn-based strategy games quite a bit, but man, this game is just missing some of the love it needed to really perform well in my eyes. The gameplay is great. Pokemon always hits on that front, in my opinion. But man, this could have been a top 3 for me if these games actually, you know, had a budget. Walls and windows that are flat textures, boring lighting, such stiff and soulless animations. This is Pokemon. It should easily contend for Game of the Year, but it doesn't get what it needs. Love it for the Pokemon as Pokemon, but pretty much not much else, honestly. I'm really hoping that one day we will get the truly great Pokemon experience fully fleshed out, but just every Pokemon game since like Sword and Shield is just missing something, and Legends Arceus is very good, but still. Number 7, Arc Raiders. I really did not expect to like this game as much as I did. I had never played an extraction shooter, and I really hate battle royales. The art direction was appealing, but nothing special to me. I didn't even get the game until others in my friend group around me got it. But man, I'm glad that I did. This game is not perfect, it's far from it. But as my first foray into the genre, I'm hooked on this one. It's much more casual than I expected and facilitates a lot of nice and not so nice social interactions with other players, which I really value. I've been told that I should just be playing an MMO if I want that though. The ins and outs of the gameplay have been so addicting. I've been playing or wanting to play the game even when I have nothing to do in the game. The only thing I have left to do is get blueprints. That's it, and that's purely random chance. It makes me scared that Marathon, a game by my favorite game devs, with art direction and gameplay that I like more, won't be my style because of its higher PvP focus, but we'll have to see. Number 6, Team Fortress 2. I know I just mentioned that I'm not a fan of focusing on PvP, but it was so nice to jump into my old favorite again this year. I have no idea what it is specifically about TF2 that does it for me, where nothing else can. Maybe it's the art style, maybe it's man versus machine, maybe it's the looser class-based gameplay compared to things like Overwatch and Marvel Rivals. Maybe it's the fact that simply the game can't die after all these years. But it's a PvP game that I enjoy, I plan to stick with for a long time, and I think if you can ignore some of the more outdated aspects of TF2, you'd find a very fun experience. Especially TF2 Classic is coming up soon, and that gets me very excited for the future of TF2 content now that fan-made content can be officially listed on Steam. Number 5, Elden Ring NIGHTREIGN. On the top 5 now with quite the banger. I love Souls. The challenge, the gameplay, and this fast-paced, almost roguelike experience with friends take on Elden Ring had me a little bit wary at first, but doubting FromSoft has never and will never be a good idea. They, not even with the main team, cooked like you'd never believe with this one. This is the best Souls experience I've had in a long time, since people can't complain about playing with others to make it easier. I recommend this game literally for anyone who wants an endlessly replayable Souls game. The only complaint that I would have of it is that the map feels a little bit drab at times. I wish that the Altered Earth modes were more common, but I haven't even played the DLC update yet, and it's still in the top 5 for me. This game is great. Number 4, God of War Ragnarok. Now, were it any other year, almost all of the top 4 could get a place in the top 3, number 1, it doesn't really matter. I just played a ton of good stuff this year, and much like GTA, this was a game I should have played a long time ago. 2018 was one of the first games I ever got a platinum trophy for. I loved it, and I was intimidated to take on this game for a long time. For what reason? I don't truly know. Maybe it was the fact that I knew that I was going to consume this game like no other. Maybe I was scared it wouldn't live up to 2018, and I have never been more unfounded in my concerns in my entire life. Kratos and Atreus' story was such an important game for me to see and play. It has completely raised the bar for active storytelling for me. Honestly, it's one of the few games I've cried at multiple times. I'm sad it's over, but it's dwarfed by the immense amount of awe I have at how good this game was. The gameplay, as a guy who likes Souls, even though it's not Souls, was still very up my alley. Maybe there could have been a smidge more complexity compared to 2018, but honestly, who really cares? It was one of the few games that I believe is a truly perfect sequel, and I cannot wait to see where Santa Monica Studios takes this genre next. Number 3, Persona 5 Royal. All right, we're in the top 3 now. Also, much like GTA, this was a game I started many years ago, but never finished. If I could strangle my 16-year-old self, I would for somehow getting bored or sidetracked from Persona 5. Persona 5 Royal has everything. Great gameplay, great story, great style and direction. You can tell the minute that the game opens that there's so much heart and soul into the game, much like Neon White. It's like experiencing one of the best anime ever made in real time, and I get to participate in it. It's fun, it feels like it never ends in a good way, and when it is over, you just want to sit outside and contemplate life and what you just played. In short, it made me happy playing the game in the most basic of ways. I was enthralled, I was immersed, I felt like a part of the game, not just playing the game. It was fantastic. You'll be on the edge of your seat just as much as you feel like you're chilling with friends you've known your whole life. This game is great. I cannot wait to try out more Persona games. And honestly, who knows? Might be next year, might be Persona 3. I don't know yet. Number 2, Deltarune Chapters 3 and 4. Even though this, I guess, technically could be considered DLC-like, I'm not going to consider it that. Those who know me will know well that this is one of the most important games to me that I've ever played. Chapter 3 and 4 of Deltarune came out this year after a 4-year wait, and a 3-year wait before that. And honestly, despite me spending a long time trying, I'm at a loss for words of how to describe this game to me. This game is deep. Deep with history, deep with lore, such incredibly subtle storytelling that it makes you want to think about every single little thing that you see. It's not the simple pixelated RPG it appears to be. This game gives so much for a fan like me to think about. It is one of those you had to be there or you have to be in the know to truly get. Don't get me wrong, this game is absolutely tons of fun for everybody. Every other line is entertaining, heartwarming, or filled with a level of detail and nuance above many other similar games that it's so amazing to play. The characters and stories in the new chapters feel like they can't be topped, and yet every chapter they are every time. This game exceeds my expectations and more. I hold this game in such high regard that I want everyone to experience the wonder and fun I have with this game. I find it hard to recommend because of the very specific viewpoint and knowledge that you need to get the same experience I had out of it. And it'll disappoint me if they aren't liking it as much as I would. The reveal at the end of Chapter 4 that Chapter 5 is coming out 2026 this year has given me the most hype out of anything this year. I cannot wait to be at the ground floor yet again for another unforgettable experience, and I cannot wait to be there for the whole ride all the way through to Chapter 7. But for this year, it's not the number one. That honor belongs to Hollow Knight Silksong. To no one's surprise, my 2025 Game of the Year is Hollow Knight Silksong. It's such a unique and cherished experience to be part of a once-in-a-decade event like this. There's only one other game I've had this amount of anticipation over such a long time for, that being Pikmin 4. But holy shit, my god, this game felt like a 10 out of 10 within the first hour of gameplay. I've had very few games I've loved quite like Hollow Knight back in 2019 when I first played it. I cannot describe the pure joy when I first loaded up Silksong and realized I get to do what I did in Hollow Knight all over again with a new experience. I've had some downs with the game. Some of the boss runbacks were frankly bad, but they were nothing compared to the immense fun I had being alongside Hornet through her adventure in Farland. The DLC coming out this year makes me so glad that it being fully over is still on the horizon and not yet here for me. And the mods are going to be fantastic. They're going to be out of this world. I'm going to spend the next 5 years at least coming back to this game before I begin to feel like I'm out of content. Silksong will go down as one of my favorite games of all time without contest, and it is my 2025 Game of the Year. And that's my top 10 for 2025. Let me know what you think of my rankings based on the games that I played. I'm very excited for 2026 and what adventures or stories there will be to undertake. This time, I'm not going to make an ambitious list of over 100 games. For now, I'm going to leave it at NIGHTREIGN and Legend ZA DLC, of course, DELTARUNE Chapter 5, the Silksong DLC if it comes out this year. Arc Raiders and Destiny 2 are staying in my rotation as well. Maybe a few oddballs out here and there. Well, I do have one of the things I'm going to get to in 2026. An old one, but certainly one every gamer should have under their belt eventually. I'll see you next time for the 2026 Top 10, and thank you all very much for watching.